Hi friends, welcome to Crafting and Relaxing. Thank you so very much for joining me for weekend updates. Weekend updates are just that, random things that are going on in my craft room that probably weren't big enough for me to make a video about, or maybe I didn't feel like getting that organized. So thank you for joining me. I'm glad to have you here. Today I'm working on an idea that I got from Artsy Ashley. And yesterday, a date with my craft room and I, Tasha, we were doing FaceTime and we tested this out and we both love it. So thank you to Artsy Ashley, and let me show the rest of you. You might have a product in your craft room called score tape. On the side, it might say sequang. You've heard me talk about this in my adhesive video before. It comes in super narrow, just like the Tuesday morning. Ashley has a roll of it that's probably 3 inches wide, maybe 4. And she calls it whatever she got. I think she got it from scrapbook.com or somewhere. And so she calls it their adhesive. What I think happened is Score Tape, who is the scoreboard score pal people, they found this product. It's made in Korea. They put it in their packages. So you might have it in your room out of the package and it says sequang. If you have another brand of the same idea, that's fine too. Use it. I've been talking about a Xyron machine, and you can take your dies, your die cuts, when you like this word thank you after I cut it out, and run it through. When I did that, it looked to me like the adhesive showed around the edge, and it could have to do with which version you have and how the adhesive layers are. Andrea, my friend Andrea, has a big one that's a little fancier and maybe it works better. But also, these are very small detailed dies, and it was just a pain. What Ashley does is she takes a strip of this. I'm going to use, here we go. So I have a strip of cardstock. This was, you might have thrown one of these away. I was making something, there was a 1-inch strip. My tape is 1 inch wide. In a perfect world, right, if I could just bewitched and wiggle my nose, I would have a wider roll here, but this is what I have. And I bought this for journal making. Now talking and doing this is tricky, and I didn't line it up very well. Now what I have is a piece of cardstock. I can burnish it, put some pressure on it, it doesn't matter. I have a piece of cardstock right here, and I can take this die. Now I've gone through my dies a little bit to see what I have. I have Celebrate that fits on a 1-inch strip. I have Happy Birthday that fits on a 1-inch strip. I have a bunch of these small ones that came in a package at Tuesday morning. But that's it, right? I mean, at a certain point, I just run out of dies that work on 1-inch strips. And that's okay. It gets me started. And it also, what I was thinking was, it helps me determine if this is something I want to purchase, right? I always want to test things out and see. Even if it's only $20 or $40, we all have a pile of things in our house that maybe we shouldn't have spent 20 or 40 on, right? I'm moving my notes. I write notes sometimes for these, but they're so messy. I don't want you guys to see them. Okay. Then, and this die is a little bit fine, so I probably shouldn't have used this as an example. The word is going to try and stick in the die. But the others, when I pulled them out, they would stay on the backing, so they were a little bit easier to work with. There we go. We'll get it out, but it won't be sticking on there. Don't mind the dog hair. Okay, so there I have it, and it's ready to stick on. Now, the downside of this that I didn't love, because I was using these tiny little sentiments, which, by the way, the sentiments are the ones I'm interested in for this process because they're such a pain to put adhesive on. And I've tried all sorts of different strategies, and I think it sort of depends on if you're making one card or if you're making a batch of cards, or if you're trying to get stuff ready for another day, or if you're trying to, like, you know, make great setups and send them to your friends. Okay, so that's all ready to go. And I don't know if I want to stick it on this one. Let's put it on this one. And then it's self-adhesive, and we can put it down right here. And we don't have to mess with it. I didn't get glue all over my hands. I didn't get glue all over the counter. I think it's pretty great. So I don't know. Tell me, how are you adhering your detailed sentiment dies? Now, don't get me wrong. I have that little quickie ink pen that I've showed you before, and I have art glitter glue. There are other ways to do it, but I'm thinking I kind of love that, and I might want to order a big roll. Thank you so much to Artsy Ashley for that idea. It's been floating around in my head. I just forgot that I had a roll. In fact, I didn't even realize it until I said it to Tasha, and she pulled out. She has sheets, like they're like packaged like this and wider. They're maybe 6x6 sheets, and those will work great too. So whatever you have that you bought from the Score Tape people, and I'm sure there are other brands. I think Sizzix and some other people, they all make stuff like that. You have to shift your thinking because you're attaching your adhesive before you cut. You can do it. You're smart people. So I'm working on this mess. This is Smash That Small Paper Pad, and I got out some of those embellishments and started putting them on cards. This one has tulle. See it? You'll see those later, so I don't want to show you those in this video. I watched High Fidelity, Pamela. We've been talking about movies in weekend updates because we all need to find some joy and go back and see what we think. I watched High Fidelity. I don't love those movies where our main character, especially my John Cusack, because I expect, say anything of him, where it's like kind of a black comedy, kind of dark. So I watched it. I remembered it. I didn't love it. But my husband said, I don't like black comedy. So he knew that I wasn't going to be like really excited to watch it. It had that kind of goofiness like Better Off Dead, where he talks to the camera and stuff. So I did think that was kind of interesting. On my magnet wall, if you haven't seen this, I have a video about it. If you order this from my links down below in my store and you get it from Amazon, be sure to lay it out. So I tightened it up a little. It was a little floppy. It still is kind of right in here. Be sure to lay it out flat somewhere before you hang it on the wall. A bed, the ground, I don't know where I would have put it that a cat or Wilson wouldn't have been laying on it. The other thing I would do differently is if you're gonna staple it to the wall like I did, like super cheesy, I don't think I would staple the bottom the first night or the second night, because what happened to me was it kind of got poofy, like puckery down here with needle nose pliers. You can see right there. I came back in, I plucked them out, and then I put my staples back right there. And that made a giant difference because it just got flatter and maybe it sagged a little and got heavier. My wall also isn't flat, okay? Because I have I'm rocking the 60s paneling in here and it's just not flat. So those would be some pointers that I have. The way Noni did hers, it's mounted on the back to a giant frame, so it was more sturdy. I got Dragonflies in the mail. Look at this. In Happy Mail from my Aunt Tony. She's like my aunt. She just sent them to my house, no explanation. And I was like, I know who these are from. So I can make more of these Dragonflies and take these apart and put them on my wall. She ordered these and she had cut some and embossed them, and they were beautiful. And I took some. I'm excited to have those. It is raining like crazy here. So if you hear weird noise, that's probably what it is. It's rained. It's 7 a.m. and it's rained like 1/3 of an inch. It's crazy, crazy. In May, I'm not going to do a video every single day. It was just too much editing and uploading and that kind of stuff in April. And I don't want to do that. So I'm going to do a couple videos a week, kind of go back to what I was doing. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I usually load my videos to roll out at 8:45 a.m. Pacific time. So that's just before noon Eastern time. And I don't know. It's a time that works for me because I get up early enough that if I wanted to roll a video, I can do it that day and I can set them ahead to roll out. I very seldom make them that morning, usually just updates. If you want to see certain things, let me know because you know I'm going to do more stuff than I make videos of. I'm always happy to help or answer questions. I did that live and I didn't hate it, but I just don't know if those are fun to rewatch. I don't know if you guys like those. So if there's something that you want to see live and you want to be able to ask me questions and talk about, feel free to comment or message me on Instagram and we can talk about something. I'm happy to help. I just, I don't want to make stuff if you guys don't want to watch it. Okay, I realized I've been showing these in my videos because I grabbed them and used them, and then I thought, oh heavens, I want to be sure you're not learning from this. I share my supplies. If I go somewhere and there's somebody who's not really a crafter and they want to check things out, I let them and I don't watch them. And I realized I looked at these pieces of paper and I thought, how did this happen? And I think it was somebody who was learning about a die cut machine. I would never take this whole piece of paper, put a die on it, and run it through my Big Shot. I always take my die, find the smallest area that I possibly can. Yes, I would use that right there. And put a piece of purple tape and then trim around it and run it. And I do it that way for a couple of reasons. A, I want to incrementally use as much of this paper as I can, right? Keep things super tight together. And B, if your pads are not, or your cutting mats aren't in real great shape, they'll damage your paper, especially mirror paper. I would never run a piece of mirror paper through that's not in use. So when you see these, know that I shared with somebody who was excited to die cut, probably die cutting for the first time. So I was dragging these around and I thought, oh, good heavens, I should say something. Now, if that's how you die cut and it makes you happy, fine. I don't care. You do it however you want. I just wanted you to know that that wouldn't be necessarily best practice. I want to show you what I did for my ATG situation, which, by the way, that's an update all in itself. I love this. I should have spent the $20 on this, I don't know when, at least when I started my YouTube channel, or maybe, watching Christy Marcotte and thinking, I want to make that many cards. Definitely when I started No Paper Left Behind, which was, I don't know, is it 9 months now? It's been a long time. If you want to make volume, if you want to make cards with many, many layers, for me, this isn't even that many, you need an ATG. There's a link in the description below. My store, you can get the gun and 2 rolls for $20. I don't care how you buy it, but buy it. And you guys know that I'll tell you if I don't like something or I don't want you to have it, I'll loop back and say that was a mistake. I received with my gun, oh, and don't say gun. Don't say gun. Don't say the GUN word on YouTube or in your comments because it sends you to the have to be monitored and let in. Look at the center of this. It has 12 notches. One of my lovely subscribers was telling me when I ordered refills something about 12. I had no idea what she was talking about, and I had already placed my order. I got this, okay? Not 12. Now, I will say I put it in here, and it seems a little more loose, a little more rickety, and my guess is those things will slide because the notches are bigger. There's little black tabs down in there. So knowing what I know now, and if I had understood her comment before I ordered, I would not have ordered these. You should know I am a completely lazy shopper. I mean, I do not enjoy sitting around looking at things online. That's not my deal. That's why I have an Amazon store. I use it sometimes. I just go to the link, one click, done. I don't like to load up my credit card number. I didn't know. I've now been educated that you can just put all that in your phone and it autofills. I don't know. I didn't know that. So I buy everything on Amazon. Like if I can't get it on Amazon, I probably am going to wait for Noni to place an order with someone else and tag onto hers. These come from tapejungle.com. So if you want to order refills, you can get, I got 12 of these rolls that aren't quite right for, I think, $22, but you can get 12 for $26 that are the right ones on Tape Jungle. Order from tapejungle.com. I'll probably have to set up an account. I'm going to try these. I loaded this up. I have one more that came with my gun. I'm going to load this up and I'm going to try to use these. If it doesn't work, I'll put this on and I'll go in and type all my gibberish in and order from Tape Jungle. But you should order from Tape Jungle. And the thing to know is the outside looks the same. They'll show you this picture, but you need to look at this in the middle. My guess is those of you who are unhappy with your ATGs have these, or you have something that's maybe not as tight. Because I know there are people that don't like their ATGs. I loaded mine up just the same as last time, where I put it high up on here. I have a video about that. I just didn't show this angle. And so far I've only made one or two things since I loaded this, because I was playing with the die cutting, so I haven't really used it. And I have so many card bases ready because it's fast as can be from before. So that's my update. Super glad I bought it. Didn't buy the right refills. For me, you guys are going to think this is crazy. I used a roll in a week, but I prepped like 30 cards. And my others, here's a bunch of them down here. My others had more layers. I think they had 3 layers. I have about 30 of these around in No Paper Left Behind and Smash That Small Paper Pad. I had a great time. It was super fun. If you get it, go easy on the pressure. Wrap your thumb around like this. I got that from Eileen. And you don't need to, like the first couple, I was like, oh, pushing down. Don't do that. You will regret it the next day and your hand will hurt. It might hurt if you do 30 in one day anyway. I didn't do them all in the same, but it was pretty close. One more thing about my magnet wall. If it's too floppy, I might consider just putting a staple somewhere in the middle, just because it's so big. I'm just trying to avoid that, especially if it keeps sagging. I think those are my updates for today. If you didn't see my goals video yesterday, you should check that out. I was really impressed with how much I got done in April, and I'm hoping to do that again in May. And I really, really, really need to get my room under control. I mean, I don't understand what happens in here. It happens so quick. I hope you have a wonderful and crafty day. Be sure that you're working on finding joy. Find it in old movies. Find it. I mentioned that Tasha and I are FaceTiming. If you're not interacting with people and you want to, if you have an iPhone, there's a button. All you have to do is push FaceTime and you will see your friend. You can set it down on the counter, prop it up, and craft with them. If you have an iPad, you can set it up on there the same way. That works a little better because it's probably in a stand. If you have neither of those, grab your laptop and use Google Hangouts. You can still see your crafty friends. You can hang out. Tasha and I are not working on the same stuff. I want Noni to get an iPhone so it's all easier for her, but she's living in that Android world and I don't know why. She has an Apple laptop. I don't get it. Okay, have a fabulous day. Just decide to be in a good mood. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.